Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Today I have Joe Rockey. He is a serial business creator, world-class consultant, international best-selling author, and hosts a TV show that airs in 55 million households. And today he actually came to me. He says, "I can show you how casinos will pay you." And I was like, because I one thing I had been working on was starting a casino bus service. But before we get to all of that, Joe, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Yes,
Hold on a minute. We got to. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Something broke.
Yep.
Enjoy the lives. You get to see it all up front.
Yeah. Let's try this again. All right. Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. I have Joe Rockey today. Serial business creator, world-class consultant, and best-selling author. Hopefully now we got this right.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you're using an app on a tablet. So we were starting before we realized the tablet was not recording. Mm-hmm. Joe, tell us how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, so long story short, my entire life essentially has been on the commission lifestyle. And the commission lifestyle in and of itself, if you're not familiar with it, is the thing that can revolutionary change your life. In terms of transformational power, boiled down is when you produce, you get paid. That's what a commission is at the end of the day. You're not dependent upon the amount of time it takes you to get it done as you would be with an hourly position. You're not dependent upon having to get promotion or status, climbing a corporate ladder. But in the commission lifestyle, you produce, you get paid. You guys, obviously, before you start, you will have those rates figured out for the percentages and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you were successful. You make stuff out of it. So my first gig was really when I was 18, commission-only lifestyle. I'm seeing that I'm making way more money selling stuff than all of my peers that are spending 40 hours a week doing all of their spare time working these jobs on hourly rates, and I fell in love with it. You fast forward, my first job coming out of college with the accounting and finance degree, I became a financial advisor during the last recession, and it was awesome selling life insurance to annuities with people who just lost their entire life. They lost everything. The recession was not awesome. But nonetheless, did that. First year, I was the rookie of the year. Second year, I was underclassman of the year. And third year, I left to start my first business of my own. Fast forward, I've made 17 of them now, and here we are.
Wow. Okay. And so just to give you a little bit of background, he came to me, and he must have noticed that, I talk about casinos so much on my podcast once in a while, and I had been working on starting up a casino bus service in the Philadelphia area for 25 years. Actually, it started out as a taxi company when I lived in New Jersey and grew up in New Jersey. And then when I moved to Philadelphia, it just escalated up to a casino bus service. And the funny thing is, I had just gone to the Rivers Casino on Saturday because it's birthday month, quote unquote.
Sure.
So I wind up getting like 5 hours in slot play and a free slice of pizza. Of course, I'm wearing a
Believe you just cut out on me there, my man.
That game that I play. Yeah. Up and there goes up. There we go. Okay. And yes, if by any chance looks like this. There we go. Okay. All right. We should be back. Okay.
Yeah.
So you when you came to me and to be on the podcast, you're saying how do casinos pay for me? Because you came out with a new book, your international best-selling book, Casino Sales Master, system to beat the odds in sales and life.
That's right.
Okay, and accompanying coaching course teaching businesses worldwide. So, like with me, to give you the background, like I said, it started 25 years ago, but in 2014, I finally got it incorporated.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing that has been killing me was the funding.
The funding element. Yeah.
Yeah. So the lack of funding and my credit scores. So that's what's been killing me in why I'm not there.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, those things do tend to go hand in hand. The credit score and the ability to get funding. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there is one casino that it is willing to work with me because, make a long story short to that, the bus company that used to transport and do business with what used to be the Sands Casino in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, went out of business. Just one day, just went out of business. And since then, nobody does it.
Yeah.
So I turned around and I was like, you know what? I want to do it. So, but at the time that I wanted to do it, I was thinking that that Philadelphia, you had to have, a certain amount of money, this. So the end of last year, I finally got to the parking authority because they handle the Philadelphia PUC. And they were like, we don't handle the buses. I'm like, all this time I'm working on trying to get it, and this has been, at this point, 20, going on 23, because I moved to Philadelphia in 2001. So we're coming up on 23 years on that. And to find out now that I could have, the whole time, if I had the buses and stuff, I could have ran it in Philadelphia and not had a problem. I'm like, because I was basing it in Jersey because of Philadelphia. So, but I still want to do Jersey because I'm also trying to move back home because I grew up in Jersey.
Yeah, so there's a lot to that there. First off, about the other company just outright disappearing one day, that happens a lot in this country. At the end of the day, a business only exists because the business owner wants it to exist. I mean, that is a starting point with the economy overall. And what you often see happening, and unfortunately will continue to see happening for a large period of time, is business owners that are spending too much time in their business, regardless of what they're doing within their business, just too much time period in it. And they get to the spot where they want to move on to the next chapter of their life. And because they're putting so much time and energy into it, no one wants it, because people buy businesses, not your job. Right. And if you're spending time in your business, it becomes very challenging to find a buyer that will want it, that's also capable of buying it. So you're going to see these stories of, this business just disappeared a lot, because something like 30% of the entire U.S. economy is run by small businesses that is either a baby boomer or Gen X, which means this is a real problem as these guys want to become retiring, which is what my consulting firm does, is we help make that business work without the owner. That's what we do. We transform the business so that you don't need to be involved in it. It's fantastic. And then all of a sudden, boom, someone else is willing to buy it and the business lives on.
Yeah,
that's the consulting practice. It's not really about the book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because what I'm like I said, what I'm trying to do is just get the business started.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, that's my thing. I mean, I could scour around and I mean, matter of fact, last March, I went down to Motor Coach Industries in Blackwood, New Jersey, and I looked at a 2011 MCI D4505. That was an old Peter Pan bus. It had about 750,000 miles on it, and I was like, yes. I was like, oh, look, it was in good shape and everything. Well, they had one stripped down. And when I found out what actually was, I was like, oh my Lord. I could not believe what it actually was. It was a excuse me. It was a former Bolt bus because at the time Peter Pan was owned by Greyhound. So when they stripped it, you could see the orange and black, which was the Bolt bus version. I was still interested in all that, but I couldn't come up with the money to put the down payment on them to get them worked on and get them road ready. So that ended the whole thing right there. And I mean, I was depressed, but at the same time, I was like, I'm not, I that's one thing I'm not giving up on. Because the way I'm going health wise, because I'm working part-time at Amazon, and it's kind of something that I'm not saying I'm not comfortable with, but the way my health is going, I kind of want to do something I know that I can enjoy and that I can always, quote unquote, sneak on if I want to get away, like hop on one of the buses and actually just go up for the day. Because the way I priced everything was I started it at 45 because of gas being $4 or $5 a gallon at the time, and being it's a 50 passenger bus. So I started at like 45, but I managed to play around with the numbers and I got it down to where it was reasonable, because the Wind Creek Casino, which is now called, used to be called Sands at the time, actually would give the bus passengers $35 in slot play. So that's so I was like, okay, so works out good for both. They go up, get $35 in slot play. They're up there for 6 hours. Enjoy, and especially with this casino, there's a food court and a shop and an outlet mall. So they don't even have to even go into the casino. I mean, they have to go to the casino to get to the food court and the restaurants and stuff. But they don't have to use the card. Because I've seen, and I'm not trying to sound offensive, but I've seen certain bus organizers where and because most of the time that I go, there's a lot of another descent up there. And I literally seen these people come off the bus, take the card, hand it to someone, and stay in the waiting room the whole time that they're there. And I remember inside the casino, I'm sitting down, playing my machine, and there was a person that had a stack of cards like that. Each of them had probably about $45 because he came from New York
Mm-hmm.
and was just playing them. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. You know? Like, why do you even bother going? I mean, I can understand getting out of the house, not a problem. But to pay whatever it costs you to come up to walk around in a bus depot area, I'm like, could do something better. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bethlehem is a nice little area. I've walked it.
Mm-hmm.
But to mainly just walk around and sit in the waiting room area, I was like, that's a waste, in my own personal opinion.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what some clients do. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really put that kind of judgment upon what they do after they use your service. I mean,
right.
that's
Oh no,
that's,
no, I understand it, but it was just something I just picked up. I was like, I mean, I still would say thank you for purchasing your ticket, but
mm-hmm.
In the back of my mind, like, you could be doing something better. I mean, if you're gonna hang out up there, go outside the casino, something like that. That way you get your exercise or whatever you wanted to do, but at the same time, you like take a tour, and that's what I've done, because I've done it I've done it with, like I said, with that other bus company before they went out of business. They used to do a late night run, which means the bus would leave here in Philly 9:30 at night, get up to Bethlehem about 11, and by 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I'm usually broke by then, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So I would turn around and go out and just take a walk in the area, mm-hmm. at the same time watching what I'm doing. So what kind of other ideas would you say for something like this?
Yeah, so I mean, to give you the first starting point, you'd want to cut down the amount of time it takes you to get to the answers in terms of who to contact, but you're going to want to get to the actual hotel and see if they have a partnership agreement, whether it be a competitive type thing or not, because what you're going to be providing them is people who are coming into their casino, especially if they already got it set up where they're having you on slots, which is their most profitable game,
right.
Of the casino. Uh-huh. And you're going to want to make yourself differentiate yourself than just shuttling it. So I understand that your value of saying, hey, we can cut it down to $35. So in your head, Mr. Client, it's a net break even. But the problem you're going to have with that is that you're essentially on the whims of a casino giveaway, which change rapidly and radically.
Yeah.
What would make a lot more value is saying, our buses have whatever standard that you're going to differentiate yourself with, quality, speed, whichever. That you're going to go with, and then lean into that dramatically hard, so you don't look like every other bus company. You spend more money to be on a party bus with all that neon and disco lights than you do to be on a normal public transportation.
Right.
And
right.
Yes, you're still getting as many people on there as possible for your business model. So it's going to be, how can we make our bus be more attractive than doing the drive? And you're going to have to probably focus upon the quality and comfort of the experience.
Right.
So how can you go about in doing that? That would be the first thing you do. And then once you have yourself differentiated in that department, you then approach the casino and saying, hey, we are a high quality, high-end busing company that can bring regular people to your entity.
Yeah.
Let's figure out a way of creating some type of partnership arrangement, because you've already said that you don't have the funding to start this business yourself.
Right.
You have the ability and expertise to run it, presumably, but you do not have the starting capital. So what you're going to need to do is get a partner who does. In this case, the most natural ones would be that casino, because the casino has a vested interest in your success. So pairing up an already vested interest into a partnership might make sense. There's no guarantee they'll go for it, but if they do,
I actually did that. I actually went to them. I said, "Listen, could you um, be like a sponsor, quote unquote?" And what I would have done was with the buses. Um, when you see the transit buses now, they got the wrap on them,
Mm-hmm.
and put like a wrap of Wind Creek, you know, saying this bus goes to Wind Creek or something, something within Wind Creek. So that shows that the partnership is there. What they're
Yeah, but
sponsoring.
you're going to need it to be equity partner to get the amount of capital that you need.
Yeah,
It's just to what degree it is.
yeah,
That's just the fact of the nature. So
yeah.
then you also then have exclusivity as an equity partner. Then
Mhm.
you have the ability to scale, and you can have, just like I said, built-in agreements where the casino's only going to want to do that if you're making them profits. I mean,
Yeah.
the casino is literally the most profit-making entity in the world. I mean, that's what they're
Mhm.
built to do.
Right.
So, with that being said, if you're bringing them clients that are going
Yeah.
to make them net money, they're
Yeah.
all for that,
Yeah.
especially in a world that is fighting to get people to come on site, because
Right.
they make more money on site than they do through the apps. Yes,
Right.
the apps is its own funny, unique market for them, but
Right.
there is massive competition. If you're
Mhm.
sitting in Philadelphia right now, I can get on the bus to go to Bethlehem, or I can go to the one that's already in Philly. I can't go to all the ones in Vegas. I can't go to all the ones in the rest of the country, but
Right.
my phone can. So
Yeah.
there's a tremendous pull to
Mhm.
get people to show up on site
Right.
in the actual casino. Not to mention, when you're there, now you're doing all the other ancillary purchases like
Right.
drinking and eating.
Right.
So it's a better win for the casino. And the
Right.
more that information can be conveyed to them, the better you are. So
Okay.
what you're going to want to have before you have that meeting with the casino is very clear your routes,
Yep.
very clear the demographics, or not even the demographics, the
I had
likelihoods
yeah, I have
of
a business
people.
plan.
Yeah. So you're really solving the problem of people who want to go to the casino but can't for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Right.
So we're not talking about people that can go and just fire up their SUV and show up by themselves. You're talking about a different type of
Yeah.
price tier that has, maybe they can't drive. Maybe you're talking about, the senior citizens or whatever that would like going to casinos. They like going to places where they still can smoke. And then all
Oh
of a sudden,
yes.
I can now get there. And you're
Yeah.
providing an opportunity that's valuable to both. So
I
pairing that up would be the first step. Having, what does the casino want first and foremost as your client is
right.
this first sale that you're doing. So
Okay.
what does the casino want?
Okay.
More people there. How do we get them there? They got to physically drive.
Right.
They don't have the ability to drive, so we
Right.
solve that problem with this bus.
Right.
So where is the largest area that we can make this work, where there's people that want to go to a casino and can't drive? And then that's where your routes need to be centric around. So
Right.
just identifying the need and solving it. So
Yeah.
then now, boom, we do the math and say, hey, based upon these maps and geographical area, these will be the 5 best routes.
Right.
To do
Right.
that, we're going to need 10 buses, 2 crews, and all that. We're talking about a capital expenditure of whatever the math ends up being.
Yeah. Because the used buses that I'm looking at now, um, actually now they're gone to another company I'm looking at. They're
Well,
2000.
the point for this conversation is the math of it isn't really what matters. You'll need to know it when you
Right.
have that conversation,
Right.
so that when you go to the casino and say, "Hey, boom, this is the option." So one of two things can happen here.
Okay.
Either A, we make a partnership agreement where you end up buying the capital, and then that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
B, you do a presentation where it's like, you know what, we'd like to do this,
Yeah.
have an exclusivity clause, and then leave the option for another equity partner to come in as well.
Yeah.
Because the simple fact is that that you're not going to be able to get this to launch off the ground
Right.
and have 100% equity.
Right.
The amount of capital you have at your disposal just isn't there.
Right.
So with that being said, you have to be willing to do that and know that you might only end up, when it's all said and done, being a minority partner in your baby. And that's
Right.
just where you're starting. But as the thing grows, if it grows to a big enough number, everyone wins. And that's how you would look at that as far as making this a profitable venture with the casino. Again, all with the mindset of how does the casino win? Because that is the goal. And if you start focusing elsewhere, you're going to erode that relationship with what is essentially your most important partner. And if you can end up being the ideal preferred bus provider for them, you get all kinds of extra ancillary benefits that then can translate to, hey, we do this with the one in Bethlehem. We also can do it with yours here as you expand. Because being in Jersey and in the Philadelphia area, I believe there's like 6 casinos within 100 miles of downtown. We count Jersey and
there's Atlantic City, but I will not go to Atlantic City, and here is why. When I used to take the buses from Philly down to Atlantic City, they only gave $20 in slot play. And excuse me a second. And now, when Greyhound used to do it, they used to charge, $20, $21 to get that $20 back. If you went to New York, it cost you, it cost me about $30, but I only got $25 back. So now, like, if I'm in Jersey and I turn around and decided to work with Tropicana, Caesars, and Harrah's, which I frequent the most of, outside Borgata. Borgata doesn't take buses at all. We've already established that. They'll only get back 20 in slot play. And now in reference to expansion, just north of the Wind Creek Bethlehem, there is Mount Airy Casino in the Poconos. So I thought about that.
Yeah, but you're still tied to the same problem. Your problem here fundamentally is that you think that your thing has no value above what the free slot play is.
Right.
And until you get your bus to show that it has tremendous value beyond the free slot play, you're not going to have a company.
Right.
It's just that black and white. So your pricing should start with it's $60 a ticket on my bus. Whatever the casino gives you will be that. This is awesome. You get an experience, a great trip ride to get there. You want to be able to do it, and you don't have to come back on the same bus. You want to go up on like a plane. You don't take the first one that we come back around on the round trip. You get to select the one you come back with. So therefore, if you want to stay and you want to make a weekend out of it or whatever, that's cool. And that's the difference. So whatever the free slot play they give out, cool, whatever. It's nice, but that's not why you're buying this ticket. You're buying this ticket to get to this, the casino. That's going to have to be a starting point shift within your own mind, or else you'll never be able to control your own pricing. A business that can't control its own pricing can't survive.
Because like I said, they give 35 in slot play. So, like, if I did 35, I'm making the 35 from the customer, but they're getting it back, which I'm happy with on that point. Because they're getting it back in the slot play. So
because you can make that work doesn't mean you should.
But my question to you is this: when I did that idea, I did it through. The person I contacted at Wind Creek was in reference to the bus department. So, and she couldn't help me at that point with that because they couldn't. I don't think I'm trying to remember how she stated it, or something close to it, but they couldn't do something like that, and because I would have loved that idea, and I suggested it because the way it would have been set up is when you set up your routes, you're setting them up as of right now as a charter run.
Yes.
Okay. And that charter run, that was the little issue because I'd rather do the line runs. Now, in reference to seniors, my 92-year-old mother, soon as I mentioned that, and I wanted her to be a partner actually, because she was going to bring her seniors from our hometown into the business model to where they had the bus, they could get the bus every month with the wheelchair lift and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was going to charge them somewhere between $1,000 and $1,100 each time, because of the of course, the bus is sitting up there, and of course, paying the driver to go up there, and so on. So I was trying to make it as reasonable, but I couldn't get my mother as a partner because of her credit. So, like I said, my question is, who do I exactly reach out to? Do I reach out to the corporate of Wind Creek?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to go where the money is.
Okay. Yeah. So I gotta go to like the corporate.
But you have to come already pre-prepared with why this is of value to them.
Right.
And the system of saying, hey, this is our methodology of how we're going to consistently get people to come to you.
Yeah.
Is a value. The issue with doing a line versus the charter is you have no control or excitement around the event. If you have a charter that says, you know what, we're going to pick you up from this senior facility at, we're going to make an event around it with the actual casino, or with the senior saying, Wednesday, we're picking everyone up. It's a big thing. People can go do it. You'll get a lot more excitement.
Right.
And then really what you could do is just say, this will become a once a month event. And knowing how large Philadelphia is, there are way more than enough senior facilities that would be willing to do that. And then you just start pinging them up. Once a month, we just come here. Second Thursday, we're always at this one. Third Thursday, we're at this one. Whatever. And now what does the casino get? The casino gets all these customers. What do the people from the senior center get? It's another event to keep their seniors happy, active, and engaged, which is something that senior citizens centers always want to have anyway. More engagement, more cross communication. It's really a win across the board, and that's what you have to focus on. And then for the charter, because you're giving so many wins across the board, your prices are not based upon what does that individual consumer get out of this. Right. Because quite frankly, you should be billing the actual senior center, not the participant in this case.
Right. So then that's what I'm saying about that 1,100. That was to the senior center.
I get that. But it still should be a number that's not fighting yourself and cutting your own value. Why do you use our bus? The senior center doesn't care per se about a lot of things, but they do care that it's quality. None of their seniors are going to get, sick, infected, or anything like that. Right. So you have we're a quality trip. It's going to be a safe drive. It's going to be a comfortable drive. Everyone's going to be taken care of. Right. Well, that is something that the senior center would have to care about before they encourage their people to go with you. So you focus upon what are the needs and the concerns of each person involved that's cutting the checks. Right. So that is who the senior center cares about. Again, the casino, who is the partner in this, cares about them getting there first and foremost. So as you do that and you grow that, it now becomes boom.
Yeah.
Senior centers will call all you up. This is how we have these conversations and go from there. Yeah. And what you would make sense is if you did exploratory calls that just started with, we're looking to expand into your area. You don't even need to tell them anything about the company. Look, we're looking to expand into your area to do a busing service from your facility to the casino. We're not talking price, just flat out starting point. If you were to be interested, what would be your first concerns? And then you just interview various senior centers. Now you've talked to 12 of them. You're used to talking to people in a low pressure environment because all you're doing is just asking their head of their head of events questions. You're not really trying to push anything upon. You're not selling them anything. You don't have anything to sell, but you're really quickly getting, all right, this is a market or it's not a market. Then when you go to the casino or the casino corporate saying, hey, I have this many people, this many senior centers. Total people possible is, probably in tens of thousands. If you talk to 10 senior centers, each of them have at least 100 people at them. Boom. It adds up real quick. You get some bigger ones involved. Okay, boom. We've talked to a bunch of senior centers. This is the response we're getting. They'd love to come. We just need to figure out a way to make it happen. I have this expertise where I'll be able to do it. I am in need of a capital injection. Since you are going to be the main recipient, I wanted to give you the first opportunity.
Right.
And then boom. And then from corporate standpoint, it's their evaluation in you, their judgment in you about whether or not they want to be in a partnership with you. And that's how that would go about.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, when I talked to the bus marketing department at the time, because like I said, everything in reference to what they require was with bus marketing. And all that is fine. They were like I said, they for me to, before I started the line runs, they have you start out as, like I said, as charter. And like I said, the one senior center, that's actually in Jersey. Like I said, my hometown of Somerset, that my mother and I were discussing. And we oddly know the person that runs those events because I went to school with her son. So that part's not a problem.
Well, you need to talk to ones you have no connection with as well. Like I said, you need to have a sampling of at least 10 of them to have the answers. Because the ones you have a personal connection with are biased by their very nature. So more independent, the more unaffiliated ones that you can get information from, the better. Because that's really the draw to the casino. Is all of this extra, all these extra people.
I can look into Philadelphia because there's a Philadelphia Senior Center right on South Broad Street, and like the bus can pull right up there with no problem. Because of course public transit goes right up and down the street. And in reference to other senior centers, I have no problem looking them up and taking a day out and saying, hey, and do that interview that you were mentioning.
Well, it's a lot longer than a one-day process. This is
right. But
it'll be part of your business moving forward.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is, just giving myself the idea at least one day to get everything together. Researching and stuff. And then
likewise, if you get in a conversation with someone and they're not the right person, you have to be able to convert it. Go, well, who should I call and what is the best way to get a hold of them?
Right.
And
get referrals from them.
You've got to be willing to do, because clearly that's not what happened with talking to the casino before.
Because what the casinos do in the charters, and what they do is they give the group leader $100 in slot play and other perks, and then everybody else gets that slot play, that $35 in slot play. I think it's 35. I don't know. It depends on, the location wise. Because for me to get the 35, I had to push myself like almost 90 miles away. And in reference to like with New York, see, when I went to Wind Creek now, I actually have to go to New York and catch an 8:30 bus in the morning to go there and get 45 in slot play. So I was trying to get it to where I could get 45 down here, but of course, the best they could do was 35. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's making the customers aware that they're getting 35, and then and the one, the company that's doing it now is the one that did pick it up from, or has been there all along, but they just drop off and pick up. They don't do they do it as a line run, but they don't go directly there. My goal is going directly there, because it's like I said, it's like a Greyhound in reference to it. So they make other stops before they get to the casinos. Mine is a one shot. You're going to the casino and back, nothing else. Yeah. No Bethlehem Transportation Center, no Atlantic City bus terminal, stuff like that. So you're suggesting to reach out to 10 local senior centers. And get opinions. Then,
you're just gauging interest at this point. You're not talking price at all. You're not bringing up the free slot play, because the senior center doesn't care about any of that.
Right.
The senior center cares, am I able to give an event to my seniors that gives them something to do for a day?
Right.
That's what they care about.
Yeah.
Focus on just fulfilling that need. They don't care about the slot play. They don't care about what they actually even do in the casino. They just care that it's a safe and profitable in the sense that the seniors enjoy it experience.
Yeah. Right.
That's all that they care about.
Right. Yeah, because there's believe it or not, there's a neighbor of mine, and we talk casinos all the time, and she turns around and says, so and so does this run every Sunday in Wind Creek, and she charges, I think, $35 or $40, and you get 35 back. And I'm like, and she just does it on her own. So I'm like thinking, like, how does this person, unless this person saves up like $1,100 every week, because that's normally how much the buses are in reference to it. I mean, I'm going a little bit more because, I try to make everything comfortable, because, I want to make sure the buses have Wi-Fi.
And your price needs to reflect that. So you should be about $2,500.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like I said, I couldn't compete with that person in reference to that if I did it the way it was suggested on that. But reaching out to the senior centers, that's not a problem. And you said the email corporate, not the bus.
No, call. None of this should be email. These all should be in-person conversations, either through the internet or at least hearing their voice. An email will never get responded to.
Okay. But calling like the Wind Creek corporate. Okay.
Because ultimately what you're proposing is a corp, or is a spinoff company is ultimately what you're proposing for them.
Okay, a spinoff company. Okay, and then once I reach them, and I'll explain to them. Of course, I'm in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, and of course, I spoke to these senior centers, and they're interested in coming up, but they had a concern about the slot play, or something, whatever. And then if when I go to do a capital, if I request a capital infusion, my original goal was originally 3 buses, which actually was one for the line run, one for the charter, and then a backup.
Yeah, that's not big enough to be enticing.
No.
You gotta be shooting for 10, and whatever that budget would be, and then add an extra 20%.
Okay.
You gotta make yourself. I mean, you're talking to a multi-billion-dollar company here.
Okay.
You're talking about a less than $10 million conversations.
Right.
More hassle than it's worth.
Right.
If you're going to be bringing in, 10 buses brings in 500 people a trip essentially.
Right.
And then round that down to 300 for occupancy on the bus. You do that twice a day.
Yeah.
You're bringing in, 600 people that wouldn't be there in your casino
right
on a regular basis.
Right.
Now that's something that's exciting to them. They can do their own internal metrics and figure out whether it's worth it or not. Not to mention the fact that this business they'd be investing into would be profitable and good in that own regards. So so I do appreciate being on your program here today. I do got a run. Hopefully I was able to help you out with some answers there.
All right.
Yeah.
And how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, the best way to find us here is going to be at either Elite Business Conversations, the website, or you can find us at casinosalesmaster.com.
Okay. All right, Joe, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for the advice. Everybody, thank you so much for listening and watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. God bless you all. Take care.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care now.